You've felt it your whole life. At the dinner table, in the classroom, at parties where everyone else seemed perfectly comfortable, and you were somewhere else entirely, like you were watching life through glass, like you were here, but not quite from here. Most people would tell you that feeling is a problem. I'm here to tell you, it's a signal. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever tried to explain this feeling to someone? This sense that you were built for something more, and watched their face go blank? They nod. They say, yeah, I get it. But you know they don't. And so you stopped explaining. You started believing, slowly, quietly, that maybe you were the problem, that something was wrong with you, that you thought too much, felt too much, wanted too much. I need you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. You were not built to fit in. And the sooner you stop trying to, the sooner your real life begins. Because here's what nobody tells you about people who feel like they don't belong. Almost every single person who changed the world, every artist, every leader, every soul who left a mark, they all described the same feeling. Not belonging wasn't their weakness. It was their origin story. Psychologists call it existential loneliness. A deep sense that your inner world is too vast, too complex, to be fully understood by those around you. But this isn't a disorder. Researchers who study gifted individuals, people of unusually high sensitivity, creativity, or depth, find this feeling in almost all of them. They don't belong because they can't belong. Not because they're broken, but because they're operating on a different frequency. Think about it like this. A radio tower built to broadcast across 1,000 miles doesn't belong in a small room. It's not that the room is bad. It's that the tower was never built for it. You were never built for small rooms. And somewhere deep in you, you have always known this. That restlessness you feel, that hunger that never quite goes away, no matter how much you achieve, consume, or distract yourself with, that is not emptiness. That is direction. It is your soul pointing constantly, relentlessly, towards something you haven't yet become. So let me give you the signs, not to make you feel special in a shallow way, but to help you recognize what has been true about you all along. The first sign. You feel the weight of the world differently than others do. When something is wrong, in your family, in your community, in the world, you feel it in your chest before you even understand it in your mind. You carry things that aren't yours to carry. And you do it instinctively, because something in you was wired for responsibility. The second sign. You've always had a knowing, not arrogance, knowing. A quiet certainty that your life has a shape to it, that the things that have happened to you, even the painful ones, are somehow connected, are somehow preparing you. The third sign. You struggle in environments that others find comfortable. 9-to-5 jobs feel like cages. Small talk feels like a waste of the little time you have. Average is physically uncomfortable to you. Not because you're better than others, but because average was never your destination. The fourth sign. You've been alone, genuinely, deeply alone. And you survived it. More than survived. You grew in it. You found something in the silence that others run from. The chosen path is always the lonelier path. And you have walked it without knowing why. Until now. I want to tell you something that might be hard to hear. The reason you don't belong, the reason you felt like an outsider your entire life, is not a mistake. It was necessary. Because belonging too early would have cost you everything. If you had been fully accepted, fully comfortable, you would have stopped searching. And the searching is the whole thing. Every person who has ever risen to do something meaningful was first made uncomfortable enough that staying where they were became impossible. The discomfort was the calling, the loneliness was the preparation, the not belonging was the push. You were not rejected by the world, you were redirected by it. There is a version of your life not far from where you stand right now, where everything you've suffered begins to make sense, where every lonely night, every moment of doubt, every time you wondered if you were crazy for wanting more, it all becomes the foundation, not the wound, the foundation. So here is what I need you to do. Not tomorrow, not when things are easier, not when you finally feel ready, because that feeling never fully comes. Now, stop apologizing for the size of your hunger. Stop shrinking yourself to fit spaces that were never built for you. Stop explaining your vision to people whose eyes aren't open yet. The ones who belong everywhere rarely change anything. It is always the ones who belonged nowhere who ended up belonging to history. You are not lost. You are early. The sign was never that you fit in. The sign was always that you couldn't. This channel exists for one reason, for the ones who feel it, who have always felt it, who were starting to believe that feeling was a flaw. Every week we go deeper into the psychology, the philosophy, and the lived experience of people who were built differently. If this video found you, it wasn't an accident. Subscribe, stay close. Because what's coming next, I promise you, you are ready for. Welcome to Ethereal Ascend.